Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is going to be a series on Ableton Live 9 on how to produce house music. In this series we'll be covering loads of different things, including the interface of Ableton, the basics, bassline, percussion and much more. So in this first video on Ableton Live 9, I'm going to be showing you the interface of the software and where everything is, how to install different things, how to add folders, some shortcuts and just the basics. So before I get into this tutorial, I just want to say, in the description down below, I've made little links to all the different sections of this tutorial. So if you don't want to watch me talk about the interface, you just want to see how to install a VST, simply click on the link in the description that says VST Plugins, and it will take you there in the video. So when you open up Ableton, on the left hand side of your screen is the browser sidebar. In this area, there's two different sections. There's the category section and the places section. In categories, we have sounds, drums, instruments, audio effects, MIDI effects, Max for Live, plugins, clips and samples. Each thing is unique and we'll be discussing more about each section in the categories area in the future. For things like the plugins, we'll be talking about that later in this video, so if you want, I have made a list of all the different areas that we'll be talking about in this video in the description, so if you want to skip to something, just go down there and click. So above the browser sidebar is where we have the tempo area. Now the buttons that we're going to be using in this tutorial series are the tap and the tempo, two buttons highlighted by my mouse here. So we're going to be changing the tempo on this track to about 128 because it's a good tempo for house. Now to do that, you simply get your mouse and just left click on the tap button and just keep clicking it. And you'll notice that the tempo is actually changing. So the faster I click, you'll see it starts to really speed up. But if I click really slowly, it will slow down. So we're going to get it up to 128, which is just really not that hard, to be honest. And you want to get it as close to 128 as possible. So like, pretty much just like that. It's really, that's good enough. We can always change it in the future if we really want to be precise. Now you'll notice, once you've started clicking the tap to change the tempo, your track would have started playing. And you can tell by this because in the middle of the screen at the top, there is the arrangement position, included with the play and stop and record buttons, here, here and here. Now, this is just showing the time position on your track, and to stop this, all you have to do is click stop button. It will stop in its place. And then if you want to send it back to the very start of the track, you simply press it one more time and boom, it's back to the start. Now, if you want to do something different, for example, it's playing. If you press play again, it will go back to where it started off and start playing automatically again. So because we started at the first point of the track, it will go back to the very first beat and then just carry on playing like that, see? Very effective. Simply just click stop again, and then you're back at the track. So to the right of the play button and the area we just talked about is what is known as the loop switch. Now this is where you can start messing around with loops. So instead of having to keep going back to a certain point in the track just to listen to maybe a 4-bar beat, what you can do is just simply press loop and the button will go yellow. Now on the very top right of your Ableton Live 9 interface, there are two little buttons that are going to be very important to us. They're the keyboard button and a pencil button. Basically, I'll be describing what these do, but they're related to MIDI and they're very important. So if you want to skip to that part, just simply, like I said before, down the description and click and it will take you to that part in the video. So down below, at the very bottom of your screen, is what I like to call the effects area. So basically, when you have a track and you want to drag an effect onto it, you simply just, for example, hit the effect. So we're going to take an instrument, for example, an operator, and just drag it onto the actual track, like I just did, and it will pop up there below. And in this area, you can actually add different effects. So look, if I go to audio effects, drag a compressor, simply have to drag it here, and now it's saved there. Now I can always come back to these in the future, and I can always just expand them, and it makes it really tidy and nice to work with. To delete them, you just simply have to press right click on the actual name or the top bar of that area and click delete. Very simple. So now I'm going to be talking about what's probably the most important part of your Ableton interface. It's located in the top right of the screen where my mouse is now, and there's 3 vertical lines and 3 horizontal lines. When you start up Ableton, you should have the 3 vertical lines selected, and it's just default, and you should have a screen that looks like this. Very simple. Now, for what I believe is easy to work with and is very, very more work efficient, we're going to be using what is called arrangement view. Now that is the 3 horizontal bars, and when you click on it, it take you to a screen that looks like this. And to simply get back to session view, which is what the other one's called, simply just click on the other button. So we're going to be talking more about these 2 different views, and if you want to skip to the shortcuts and how to switch between the views a lot more sufficiently, all you have to do is simply go down to the description and click on the link that I've provided. So the next part of this tutorial is the preferences area. This has nothing to do with the interface, but more about the audio and what you're actually going to be achieving. It's where you can adjust audio, video, MIDI, and all different settings in your Ableton. So to get there, you simply go to the top of your software and click Options, go down all the way in that list and click Preferences. It should open up a little window like this, and you should be on the very first folder, or section, sorry, called File Folder. As you can see, it's named that on the left hand side. So where we want to go first of all is go to the left hand side of this little window and click Audio. This should take you to where you control all your audio settings. Now the first section is at the top, and it's called the audio devices, or audio device. Now we're going to be looking at audio input device and audio output device. Now unless you want to be recording any guitar or external instruments or vocals with microphones, then you can concentrate on input device. Simply plug it into your controller, a computer, and you can select it from here. So here are all the microphones listed for me, but I'm not going to be recording any vocals or anything like that throughout this tutorial. Now the audio output is what you're going to be hearing the audio from. So you're going to hear it from speakers, headphones, whatever. Now I'm going to be hearing it from speakers and headphones, and my headphones are plugged into my speakers, so I'm just going to click on what my speakers are called. Simply click on the box, find what they're called, speakers, Realtek. If that's for me, boom, click on it, done. Now you don't want to mess around too much with the sample rate, but it's the best way to get good sounding music. So leave the default SR and pitch conversion at high quality if it's already there, and if not, just simply click on it and it'll change it into a yellow box that says high quality. And then with the in-out sample rate, you just want to put it at 48,000 Hertz for a really good crisp sound. And you don't want to go too much overboard unless your computer can really handle it, but this is just what we want for beginners. We don't want to mess around too much. In the next section, latency, we're just going to leave it there. You can copy my settings. I haven't messed around with it too much personally. I don't think it's very needed to be messed around with, to be honest. So we're just going to leave it. And it's the same with the test X section below. So the next section we're going to go look at is called Look Feel. It's at the very top of the left hand side. You click on it, and this is basically the general settings of Ableton. Nothing to do with audio or video, just the look and the feel of it, just like it says. So the top area we have language, so you can change the language to very limited languages. Obviously I'm English, so I'm going to be using English. In this section at the top you can actually change the zoom, so you can make everything look small, make everything look a lot bigger. Now you do this by simply just clicking on it, either moving your mouse up to make everything big, or moving your mouse down to make everything small. So we don't want to go too crazy, so we're just going to leave it 100% because that was perfect. So in this next section called colors, you can change the skin and brightness and the intensity of your Ableton. What I mean by this, if you click on skin, you'll have a drop down menu of loads of different skins, so frost, clouds, calcium, disco, whatever. Now if you click on them, default 8, it will change the actual look of your Ableton, as you can see here. Now some of them are quite nice, some of them are really bright, start to hurt my eyes, so you want to find one that's personal to you. It doesn't affect Ableton in any way, just changes the colours of things. So if you see here, these are orange, if I click on this, they're yellow. Simple as that. Now let's say you like one, but maybe you don't like how bright it is. So simply underneath that is brightness, you can just bring that down, and maybe you like that more. Or maybe you want it brighter, just simply click on it and drag it up, just like we did with the zoom. Now for me, I personally love default. It's very simple, clean, doesn't hurt your eyes, and because you're going to be staring at this for a very long time producing music, because it's not a quick, easy, simple process, you want to have something that you can look at for a while. If you want to change the color, perhaps you can just simply click on color intensity and drag it up, and then you get a nice red. So if you go about halfway, maybe you're like, I like that, maybe it's very fadey into red from the grey, got tint of red, but then maybe you're like, don't like red. So what you can do is you can go to color hue and actually change the color. So now you see mine's kind of greenish, but once again it's starting to hurt my eyes, and because we're going to be staring at this for a long time, I don't want any of that at all. So now we're going to be talking about adding folders. Now adding folders is very useful because if you store a lot of separate sound effects, loops, samples, etc., you can have them in a little folder, and instead of having to quickly go back and finding where they are and dragging them into Ableton, you can actually add folders into the Places section located in the browser sidebar. To do this is really simple. You basically go to Places, go down to the bottom of Places, and click on the button that says Add Folder. You click this, your computer browser will appear, and you simply find the folder you want to add. So for me, it's located in Instruments, Sound Storage. I click on it. Now all my effects and sounds are here, and you can just get into them, and you see if I click them, I can preview them. Really simple. And I just click off them to stop previewing them. Now for the next part of the tutorial, I'm going to be showing how to install VSTs. VST plugins are very, very useful to produce MIDI and actually make your track sound more personalized and unique to you. Now, I talked about this before, but if you go to your browser sidebar, go to categories, there's a plugins section. Click on plugins, you can see all the different plugins you have. I don't have too many at the moment, but we're going to be downloading one now because we'll be using it in future videos. So you want to open up your browser and go to google.co.uk or .com and simply type in Camel Crusher, just like that. And then click on the very first link that you see that isn't an ad. So for me, it's this. I click it. It takes me to where I can download it. Now this is for compressing, filtering, and adding distortion to drums and guitar. It's very easy to download. Tells you a bit about it. And in the top right of the screen, you see a big black download button. Simply click on that. Then it will take you to the screen. Now you have to enter your email address below, and they'll send you the download link. So you simply type in your email address in the box selected or given to you, and then you can untick or tick whether you want to receive their newsletter and special offers. Once you've done that, simply press Get Camel Crusher and they'll send you an email. So now you want to head over to your email, and you should have received an email from Camel Audio, basically telling you that these links are available for 24 hours. And when I say links, it's because they've sent you 3. There's the Mac OS for a Mac operating system, there's Windows 32-bit and Windows 64. Personally, I have 64, so I simply click on the link, take me here, and it will say your download should start shortly, and boom, it started. And if not, you click here where it says click here. Now that it's downloaded, I'm going to show you how to install it. So you want to find where it downloaded, and you want to simply just open the application here called Camel Crusher, and then just open it. You want to follow the setup, just click next, I agree. Now when you get to the screen about VST plugins, you want to make sure that you install them in the right area. Now for me, and I think this is the best option for everyone, you want to keep your VST plugins all in the same area, so that when Ableton scans to look for them, they're all in the same area and doesn't have to scan multiple different places. Now, to make this destination folder, I have my own little folder, and I'll show you where it is. I basically go to my desktop, I go down to Instruments, go down to VST Plugins, and you'll see I've created little folders for all the different plugins. So I'm going to make a new folder and simply call it Camel Crusher. Hit enter, and then I'm going to click on this folder and click OK. Now it will show the VST plugins there. Simply click next, press next again. This is where it's going to install the actual software, nothing to worry about. And then when you get to the last page, you want to select the components to install, and you want to install it, so simply click install. Once completed, click next, and finish. So now we're back in Ableton. I'm going to show you how to actually find it, because if you look here, it's still not there. So you want to go back to your preferences. If you can't remember, options, preferences. So once you're here in the preferences, you want to go to file folder and go down to the plugin sources. You should have use VST plugin custom folder enabled or on. If not, simply just click on it. And there you go, it's on. And then you want to show what folder for it to scan. So I just simply click VST Plugins, OK, rescan, and now my Camel Crusher is there. Exit this, and if I want to drag it on a track, open it up, Camel Crusher, and just drag it on, and there you have it. Simple. We'll be talking about more plugins in the future when we actually use them. So for this next part of the tutorial, we're going to be talking about shortcuts. Now shortcuts are really useful to make your work flow a lot quicker and smoother. Now the main ones we're going to be using I'm going to be talking about, and I'll have them in the description below in case you want to copy and paste them down onto a sticky note or write them down somewhere. But I'm going to show them and what they do now. So the first one is to get in and out of arrangement view and session view really easily. So before you'd have to click, and it means you'd have to maybe drag your mouse across the screen, click like that. But let's say you're in session view, you want to go to arrangement view, simply click tab on your keyboard and take you there. Click tab again, take you back. And you can just simply quickly go from each one very easily, just like that. So the next shortcut is about grouping tracks. So I'm in session view, I'm going to click the new shortcut we just learned, tab, take me to my arrangement view. Now as you can see here, I have 3 different tracks all called lead. Now I want to group them together so I can edit all of them at the same time and just make it a lot more tidier, because if you see here, here's all my bass tracks, it's a lot easier to see them all. My drums, a lot easier to see them all, and here's the bass again. Now if I didn't have them grouped, here's what it would look like. So you can imagine trying to edit each track and having to scroll up, and it's just a pain, and it makes your work flow really slow. So what you want to do is just click on the first track and then hold Control down on the keyboard, same for Mac or Windows, and just click on all the ones you want to group, and then simply keep Control held down and press Control G. You'll see now it's made the group, and I can simply just click off onto the track, and then I can click the up or down arrow just to make them smaller and tidier. It's really nice and tidy. Makes your work flow really easy, tidy. Keep it flowing. You don't want to be messing around like looking for tracks like I talked about. It's really nice. So the next shortcut is about using MIDI. It's really useful, and it takes us back to what I was talking about earlier. So the first shortcut we're going to be doing is the Shift Tab one, and it just, you select a track and you want to go to the MIDI view. So you want to see all these little notes and maybe change them possibly. Simply click on the track and then press Shift Tab together and it'll take you to this view. Now this is the MIDI view. To get out of it, simply press Shift Tab again, you're out. It's really simple. You got to make sure you have the clip selected, because otherwise no clip selected. So make sure it's selected and then boom. Now the next shortcut is talking about the pencil tool we talked about earlier. You simply press B and now it's selected. So you see my pencil is going from a pencil. When I press B, it's cursor. Now cursor, B, pencil. Really simple. Now in cursor mode, you can drag around different notes. Just click on them, dragging them up. I think that goes there. Goes there. Yeah. And if you want to move multiple different notes, just hold your mouse down, drag over all the different notes, and just drag up an octave or wherever, or drag down. Really simple. Although if you press B, you can start adding notes, so you can start drawing. So if you click there, get a note there, whatever, wherever you want. But if you want to get rid of them without having to press delete on each single one, like just like that, you can simply highlight them all with your cursor, delete. But let's say you want to make them longer, or you want to make multiple notes at the same time without having to spam the click button. What you can do, and another way to get rid of them, is also just clicking on them. But if you want to make multiple different notes at the same time, just hold down your mouse and drag out, and it will make loads of notes on that one note. You can't drag up or down, it will just be on that note only. But let's say you want to make the note longer. Simply get your mouse and just, could be pencil or cursor, and drag it to the end of the note until you get this bracket icon. You then hold down your mouse button and you can just drag it out. Really simple. But let's say you made the note a bit too long. Maybe you want to make it half that. Get the pencil tool and click halfway. Now it's halfened. Now do it again. Do it again. Let's say you just want to delete it. Go to the very start. Click on it. Simple. So that's the first part. So that's the first part of this series, just showing you the interface and the basics of Ableton. I hope it's been useful. I hope you've learned something. And basically this is just going to be helping you so that when we do start making music, it's really easy for you to follow my tutorials. Now, the next video, I'll provide a link down to in the description below. If you want to go there right now, just go to the description, click on the link, it'll take you there. It's going to be about percussion. And if you want to look at the playlist, there'll be a link down below as well. Just simply click on the playlist button and it'll take you to the playlist full of all the videos in case you don't want to go to percussion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feedback is really appreciated. Likes are very, very appreciated. And as I said, feedback, whether it's good or bad, really good, because then I can take that all in, look at what I can do better, look at what I did well, and it's just really appreciated. And then that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Please like, comment, subscribe, and peace.